Just glad to see so many people here. So yeah, just grateful to be with you all again. Another chance to explore the various ways that we do mindfulness meditation, how to get to know ourselves better, the habits of our mind. Sometimes it's scary to look at, but we're all brave souls here doing this practice. So I'm grateful that you're here. And it can also be entertaining if you let it be. So it's the attitude that we're bringing to this, getting to know ourselves better. So, and as we always do, we'll start with a little grounding meditation just to fully arrive after all this clicking and joining and doing all that kind of stuff to get here. So take your meditation seat. If you haven't meditated before, I'll give some basic instructions. So, but just get in a position, feel supported, something that, you won't want to squiggle around too much for the next few minutes. Feeling, whether you're lying down or sitting or maybe standing, just finding a way to feel supported. Feeling the feet on the ground if you're standing or sitting. Feeling your body being supported. So you're relaxing into that support, but you're also inviting the spine to be long so that invites alertness in the mind. So we have those 3 points here. We have the support, we have the relaxation, we have the alertness. And if you're comfortable, you can close your eyes. Otherwise, just have a soft gaze. And the bell will be the invitation to come inwards, let go of the arrival. The fading of the sound of the bell, we are turning the attention inwards. Just checking in. How is it right now, right here, this mind and this body? Is there still some energy from the arrival process, or has it already settled in? Grateful to be able to let go of everything it took to get here, all the stuff that happened before, whatever might happen afterwards. You just let that all go. The past can be forgotten. It's just a memory. The future, we don't know. Right now is all we can really know. And that's what we're practicing, is not living in the past or the future, but with what's happening right here, right now. And so what is happening right here, right now? The awareness that is you, however you perceive that, is aware of, what is it that you're aware of? Maybe you can notice the energy of the mind. Is it thinking, spinning on thoughts, whatever? Or is it just calm? Or is it sleepy? Just noticing how the mind is. And it's not good or bad, it just is. And maybe even as you're kind of checking in, the energy is changing, shifting a little, as it will tend to do. And you can just watch that. And then check in with the body. What do we notice in the body? Maybe an overall sense of the awareness of the body. Again, of the overall energy level. Is it restless? Is it relaxed? Is there no energy? Collapsing? Or maybe just a sense of alertness, but not tenseness. What's happening in the body? So the body's resting on its support, the mind is resting in the body and is aware of the state of the body and the mind. And it's this awareness that allows us to know how it is right now. So in this meditation, we're inviting to let go of a lot of excessive thinking, although the thinking may come in. We're not going to encourage it. We don't have to do anything, analyze anything. We can just observe. So one object that we can observe is how the body is, sensations in the body. So maybe just a quick check-in, how the feet feel grounded on the ground, feeling the support, checking with the legs, any sensation there that's noteworthy, or if there's no sensation, notice that too. Then coming up into the core, the trunk of the body, noticing if there's any sensation there that wants attention. Maybe we feel the breath coming and going from the chest. And we can notice if we're making any judgment about what we feel in the body, or if we're just noticing how it is. If we're judging, just feel if that causes tension or not. Just go back to being aware. And maybe we can check in with the hands. Is there sensation in the hands that comes into the awareness? Hot or cold, tingling, difference between the right or left, pressure, tension or ease, pain or no pain. The hands are like this. And then moving from the hands up through the arms into the shoulders. Good check-in point there. A lot of times we hold tension in the shoulders and the neck. We can just notice how that area is. Maybe we feel the shoulders rise and fall gently with the breath. As we rest the attention in the shoulders and neck, we can notice if there is tension, if it moves when we bring the attention there, or not. And then moving up into the head, just an overall sense of the head. What do we notice there? Do we immediately go up into the brain, right behind the eyes? Or can we notice the whole sensation of the head, including any tension in the forehead, the eyes, the jaw, the tongue? Maybe we feel the breath coming in and out of the nose or the mouth. And we can follow that breath down into the body and back out again, just keeping the attention on the breath. Breathing in, breathing out. Again, noticing if we really are still paying attention to the body, or if maybe we're off thinking, we can notice that too. But set the intention to just be with the breath. Knowing breathing in, breathing out. Does it feel relaxed or tense? If there is tension, can we just invite relaxation? Feeling that rhythm of the breath. Breathing in is like this. Breathing out is like this. And just staying with the breath and just noticing if there's changes as we stay there. Not trying to control, we're just aware of breathing in, breathing out. Making a mental note to ourselves as to what's happening. Breathing in, breathing out. And if a thought or a body sensation comes in, we can notice that too. And then just notice if the mind gets distracted and just return back to the breath. Rhythm. And if the sensation of that rhythmic breath is not comfortable, maybe broadening the awareness and just feeling the breath as energy coming into and out of the body. So receiving energy on the inhalation, letting go of energy on the exhalation. Feeling the whole body breathing. Noticing if the mind is still with the breath, if it's wandered off. And if it has wandered off, just bringing it back. Resting in this sensation of the body breathing. Receiving on the inhalation. Letting go on the exhale. Nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to be. Just this awareness, aware of the body breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Noticing if we get distracted or bored or sleepy, we can notice that too. And just noticing that and the effect, and then coming back to this body breathing. And widening the awareness to take in the whole body, feel that body breathing in, breathing out. And again, just checking in to see what is the general energy of the body. Is it relaxed? Is it tense? Is it different than it was when we first started this meditation? And we don't judge, we just notice how it is. The body is like this. And what's the mood of the mind? Is it relaxed, agitated, sleepy? You just keep checking in to notice in this mind, this body, how it is. Noticing what the mind is paying attention to, what the effect is on the mind. This gives us information that allows us to observe what leads to stress, what leads to ease in this body and this mind, moment to moment. So we get to know ourselves better and choosing ease if we can, if we're aware. Our own wisdom will choose ease if we just pay attention. It's like this right now in this mind, this body. So the bell invites us to just relax that observation and gently bring ourselves back to the surface, maybe noticing again how we feel in the mind and the body. And letting go of that, just being aware of being together here again. So yeah, that basic practice, right? It's just the awareness moment to moment of what's happening. And I've been thinking about, I don't know if we've really talked much, maybe Nancy has talked about, a reminder of what are we doing in this mindfulness meditation thing. What's the objective? I'm not giving the suggestion to imagine yourself on a beach in Mexico or something, or transported to La La Land. We're doing this investigation of what it is to be fully present with the experience of being right here, right now, rather than being lost in the past or the future. And the idea of mindfulness, we really want to see the fullness of the mind experience. Not most of our lives we spend living in the thinking mind, the analyzing mind, the doing mind, the judging mind, all this stuff. And it can feel really narrow and tight sometimes. And the idea with mindfulness is to train the mind to be a little more expansive and receiving information. There's still thinking going on, there's still analyzing going on, but it's using the fullness of the mind to really notice, to sense what's going on in this mind and this body. And also when we take into everyday life, noticing how other people are. And through this responsiveness, rather than thinking our way through life, we can, sense and give and receive in a much broader way, in a more complete way. So this investigation is to notice what the mind is paying attention to. What are we noticing in this moment? What's happening right here? And also noticing our response. What's the sensory response, the emotional response. And as I invited in that first meditation, what's leading towards stress, what's leading away from stress. So it's not a passive thing going to La La Land, not, the process of paying attention can actually lead to calm, because it gives the mind something to do rather than dreaming up, worrying about stuff or plans or whatever. It actually can be calming, this paying attention, once the mind gets used to doing it, but not having it be another task we have to do, but having it something we can be interested in. And to encourage this interest, one of the practices that we talk about off and on during these sessions is using the practice of noting, making a mental note of what's happening right here, right now. Because for those of us who are addicted to thinking, which includes me, the thinking mind wants something to do, and it may get bored just watching the breath coming in and out. You may wind up going to sleep because it's just too boring, not enough stuff going on. So by actually noticing what's going on and using just a soft noting process to give a label of sensation, sound, thought, planning, breath, heartbeat, sound again, thought. So we can just, as things come into awareness, we can just make a light note of what's happening. And then we can notice that moves on, and then something else comes up. We can note that, and then that moves on. And just see that the mind is constantly paying attention to different objects as they come into the awareness. And we can notice what the mind does pick up for an object. And by naming it, and then also just sensing, what does that lead to ease, or does that cause stress? If a thought comes up and it's a worry thought, then we can notice if there's tension there. So this process of being more deliberate, but it doesn't mean we're thinking about it. It's more of an observation, right? So that sense not of analyzing. With this process, one of the things that we can do, wrong or not helpful is to analyze. Do you have exactly the right word for what's happening right here, right now? The perfectionist can come out and, well, it's not really worrying. It's more like just pondering, and then we're lost, right? So just a simple note, or you could even just notice stress or no stress. Keep it simple, like just go, okay, not okay, whatever the mind is paying attention to. So noticing if we try this approach, does it cause more stress, or does it cause less stress? And if that labeling thing creates a problem, you try to overanalyze, then just go to a simple process of noting, ease or stress or something like that, keeping it really simple. And by doing this, we keep the thinking mind engaged, so it's maybe less likely to spin out into just its usual thought. And it encourages this observation. There's a slight amount of analysis, but it's really just the the observer of what's happening rather than the active doer. And it also allows us to see what the patterns in the mind are. Like, what is the mind paying attention to? Oh, it's always tuned into the body. I'm always noticing pain in the body. What's with that? There's 10,000 other things happening. Why do I always go to this? So we can see patterns of, or if we get addicted to thinking, if we keep going off into thinking, we notice, yeah, a lot of thinking going on still, And we don't push any of this away. We don't judge it. We just notice whether it causes stresses or not. And we can take this pattern then into our life, like breathing is like this. And how does it feel? Oh, it feels easy, or it feels stressful. Thinking is like this. And how is it? And we don't have to analyze that either. We can just notice, just open up and feel what it feels like, and then let it go and wait for the next thing. So that's kind of the theory of what we're doing today. But of course, the most important thing is to practice. So we'll do a meditation with this noting in mind. And if it doesn't work for you, then just go with the breath, right? Or whatever your meditation object is that works for you. If it gets too analytical and you feel yourself stressing out, just go like, this isn't working today. And set that aside and just come back into whatever feels comfortable for you. So guiding this with your own wisdom as well as whatever directions I give. So taking your meditation seat again, whatever that is, sitting, standing, lying down, so you feel supported, upright, relaxed, closing the eyes if comfortable. And again, the bell will invite us in. So letting go of all that theorizing, just coming into the mind and the body as we did in the first meditation. Just how is it right now? This mind, this body. Noticing if there's stress or ease in the mind or the body. Just noticing, not judging. And then letting that go and setting an intention during this meditation to explore the practice of observing and then just giving a light note to whatever the moment-to-moment experience is. So as always, we're encouraging moment-to-moment awareness of experience. This time the intention is to just make a little light mental note of what's happening moment to moment. And you can choose whatever meditation object works for you, if being with the breath or somewhere in the body is good for you, or maybe even a phrase if that's what you work with. Set an intention to be with that, knowing full well other things are going to come up. And if nothing else, maybe go with the breath, feeling the receiving on the inhalation, letting go on the exhalation. So set the intention to be with your meditation object, body, breath, or just awareness of each experience as it comes into awareness. A thought, a sensation, a breath, a sound, a thought, another thought. The breath, coming and going. The mind just observing as they arise and pass from the awareness. And if the mind wanders off, just bring it back to the meditation object. Noticing moment to moment what's happening, just observing. You can check in and notice if the mind's still present with the meditation object or if it's wandered off. Whatever it's doing, just noticing the effect. Is there ease or some kind of tension with whatever the mind's paying attention to? And you can either just keep staying with that object, or you could play with that practice of noting that I talked about. So for each thing that comes into the awareness, just making a little light mental note. If you're with the breath, you just notice in or out, cool or warm, long, short, easy, stressed. Or if you're with other experiences, we can just notice those experiences that come in, a sound, sensation, a thought, a plan, a breath, a heartbeat. Just name each experience as it comes. And let it go and name whatever comes up next. So play with that if you wish and see what the result is. So engaging the analytical mind just lightly and naming each experience as it comes into our awareness. See what happens. Are you still with the process of noting, or has the mind wandered off into thinking, caught on a specific thing, or gone to sleep, gotten bored? Just noticing whatever's happening right now, and then resetting your intention to be with your meditation object or this moment-to-moment experience, noting each thing as it comes into awareness, watching that fade and the next thing arise. Once again, we can check in and see what the mind's paying attention to. Is it still just watching things come and go, or is it caught on something? Whatever it is, just notice what the mind's been doing. What's the effect on the energy of the mind and the body? This way we learn. And then reset the intention to just be with this moment to moment experience. Sensing, breathing in, breathing out. Noticing thinking, planning, hearing, breathing, heartbeat. All these experiences coming and going, and the mind just observing, naming, and letting it go. And again, we can check in and just see what the mind is doing. Maybe over this time it's relaxed a little and the things that it's noticing become fewer and fewer. So there's more space there. Or maybe not. Maybe the mind has started thinking, planning, analyzing, and there's lots of things coming up. Just noticing what the mind is doing and noticing if it's easeful or stressful. Can we notice the spaces between the things that we're naming as objects? So maybe there's an in-breath and there's a pause before the out-breath. That space. Or a space between a memory and a sound and a heartbeat. You can notice that too. So naming things as they arise and fall, and also noticing the space in the mind, just observing all this. So if you're still doing the noting practice, just noticing the effect on the mind, what you're paying attention to, how it feels, if it feels easeful or not. Do you feel alert or do you feel stressed, bored, whatever? And maybe for these the last few minutes of this meditation, just let go of the noting and just be aware of things coming in and out of awareness without trying to name them. Just noticing a breath in, breath out without naming it. A heartbeat, a sound, a plan, a thought, sensation. So back to the observing mind, but without feeling like it has to name it. Just see things coming and going with spaces in between. Noticing what the mind is paying attention to, what the mood of the mind is, how it feels in the body. We do this over and over again in the training and meditation as a way to train the mind to just be the observer. It doesn't have to always be the doer. Just observe what's happening to get to know what the mind is interested in and what the effect is on the mind. Getting to know ourselves better. Noticing what we pay attention to and how it affects us. It's the core of our practice, moment to moment, whether in meditation or daily life. And the awareness allows us to invite wisdom, to invite more ease and less reactivity. We do this for our benefit and the benefit of everyone around us. Taking a deep breath in, a deep exhalation, and letting it all go. So the bell invites us to bring the awareness back to the surface. Maybe just take a second to notice whatever you might have noticed during that meditation. These different ways that we practiced. First just observing, then the noting practice, was that helpful or not? And then noticing spaciousness, did that happen? And again, not judging any of it, that's the core, don't judge. We're just noticing. We're learning, we're not judging. And then coming back to being aware of being together again. So there were different ways of practicing. Maybe one of those resonated with you. And even if the noting practice didn't work very well today, just keep it in your toolbox to play around with. It may come in handy. If you sit down and meditate and the mind just won't calm down. I use it quite often when that happens. The mind just will not stop thinking. And I'm like, okay, analyze this, and give it noting practice. So just to bring it into the present moment. So, but again, these are all offered for you to experiment with in whatever way works for you. So hopefully there was something that was helpful, and I'm grateful to be together and